Hey, what's going on everybody? This is Justin Wolf from Wolf Customs, and today we are going to be doing a gauntlet review. I was sent this here. This is the WorkSharp guided sharpening system, as well as the upgrade kit for the guided sharpening system. If there's anything I love more than knives, it's something that I can keep my knives sharp or honed up with. Now, I've used WorkSharp knife systems in the past. They were the electronic kind. I did not necessarily care for the Gen 1, but after the Gen 1, I really liked the other ones. Now, this one I really like the idea of because it is not electronic, it is all hands-on. Looking at it and everything, it does look like it has guides, and we're going to be seeing if those guides work and if they work well. I have a couple knives that I'm going to attempt to use on this thing. The first one is one that's pretty beat up. It's one that I received in a trade some time back, and it's this one here. This is going to be a project knife. I am going to completely strip it. I'm going to put new handle scales on it and polish up the blade just a little bit to get rid of the rust spots and all that fun stuff. So if I mess up the blade a little bit, I don't really care, but I don't think I'll mess up the blade. I'm hoping that I will completely fix the blade. Another one that I have is one of my favorite neck knives, and that's this one here. It's the STKR Scout, and I really like this knife, except for a couple years back I sent it off to have some Kydex work done on it, and when I got it back there was a few nicks in the blade, and it was very apparent that someone had tried to basically fix their mistakes, and they really screwed up the angle of the grind and everything. And since then I just haven't really messed with it, so I'm hoping that I can fix that today with this. So inside the box, it appears like we have a user's guide, which is going to come in handy. And let's see here. So looks like these are diamond plates, and it looks like I have a ceramic rod as well as a fine diamond plate. Okay, so inside the upgrade kit it looks like we have a 800 grit extra fine plate. We also have a leather strop, which is quite nice, and an extra coarse 220 grit plate for when you really got to get aggressive. We've also, looks like we have some green compound, and it looks like it's talking that it is a 0.5 micron honing compound. This is the type of compound that I use on my personal leather strop, so it works quite nice. And inside this bag here, it looks like we have what appears to be some more guides for 25 degrees. So I'm just sitting here kind of reading through the user's guide, trying to familiarize myself with this thing. And you know, there's a lot of tips and helpful, you know, techniques and everything else on this thing. So I definitely recommend that if you get this, to really look at this. I mean, it talks about different techniques for different knives, different angles. Talks about how to protect different blades, you know, from getting any type of scratches on them, so it's definitely a plus. Something that everybody needs to understand is there is a difference between sharpening and honing your knife. If you already have a nice sharp knife and you take care of it and don't abuse it, 90% of the time you don't need to sharpen it. You can avoid all these diamond plates and stick with a ceramic rod or that leather strop. It's only for knives that have been neglected or have been improperly sharpened that you're going to have to actively sharpen, and after sharpen it, going to a strop or a ceramic rod. You know, I can tell you right now that this video, you're going to see me working with this thing today, and then you're probably going to see me after I've used this for about a week before I truly give a good, honest review on it, because right now there's a lot of features with this thing that you really have to get accustomed with. There's a lot of things that's interesting about it. First, you have to determine what style of blade you're going to be using. You also have to know if it's going to be a curved blade or if it's going to be a straight, you know, Tonto style or something along those lines, because based on the shape of knife determines on whether or not you unlock the pivoting. If it's a straight blade, you're going to keep the pivot lock on so that this does not move at all. But if you're going to be using a curved blade, you're going to unlock it so that this will pivot, like so. Now, with this unlocked, you can also pull that part out and then simply insert your ceramic rod section in just like that. And on your ceramic rod section, you've even got smaller rods down here at the bottom. So really right now, all I'm really trying to do is, like I said, familiarize myself with this. Now, something that I do like about this so far is the fact that everything is very easy to interchange. You really don't have to work hard at all. You know, it's like I said, changing this piece out here is literally as easy as sliding that back and lifting this out. Everything's also operated with magnets, so everything kind of just sits and sticks into place, which is very nice. I'm really liking that. It seems like it's very well built. So I've determined that I need to make sure that I've got this on set up for a pivot. But now I need to change out my steel plate, because the one that it comes with is just a coarse. Well, in the upgrade kit, it comes with the extra coarse 220 grit plate, and that's this one here. So I'm going to change this one out and put the extra coarse in. And like I said, everything's operated by magnets, so it's as simple as getting a fingernail underneath this. I say as simple, and then I'm struggling with it here. Whoop! Good God Almighty, I'm glad I didn't break it. And popping that out. Let's try that again, because it went a lot smoother the first time. Ah, you know what? I'm an idiot. I didn't see that there's an indent right there. So changing that out is just simple as putting your fingers in those two indents just like this and pulling it out. Don't be an idiot, guys. Pay attention to the small details. So, pulling that out, putting the new one on, setting it in there just like that. I'm not going to lock it in place because I want it to pivot just like this. And now it's a matter of trying to sharpen this knife. Alright, so I like mine at a 20-degree angle, so for me I would just leave these just like this. But if I was wanting to change this to a 17-degree angle, it's very simple. I literally just lift this out of here just like that, because like I've talked about before, everything's on a magnet system. So I literally just lift it out, turn it over, and the magnets lock it right into position. But I'm going to leave it at that 20-degree mark. And actually using these guides is going to be what's hardest for me, because I am so used to doing everything freehand. And the fact that I can just lift this out and I could actually do this freehand style is actually kind of nice, because that's how I kind of prefer to do everything. But I am going to give this thing a try, and we're going to try to use this. So basically what you're going to do is you're just going to set your blade on the 20-degree angle, and that's what's going to help you find that angle itself. And then you're just going to keep your knife at that angle, and we're going to run it across just like this, like you're cutting into the stone. Okay, so when we're going, it's like you're almost cutting into it. Now once I get to my tip I'm not going to want to do this. I do not want to run it off, because if I run it off, we're going to roll the tip. We don't want that. We want to stop right before the tip comes off, so that way we avoid rolling it. Okay, so we found the angle. Come over here to the other side. Really feels funny for me because I am just not used to doing anything on guides. Now, a lot of people will go with one side at a time and just kind of count how many times they go and establish a burr. And as what I mean by that is we will do this until that edge starts to roll around on this other side and you can actually feel a burr with your fingernail, which I cannot yet. And then once I feel that, then I can switch and use the other side. Now, another thing to understand when it comes to diamond sharpening systems is in the very beginning they're rather hard to use as far as being smooth and consistent. They do have a break-in period, and I would assume that these are going to be exactly the same. So before I get these into a break-in system, I won't be able to do everything as smooth as what I normally would, and it might feel a little wonky or a little bit jittery. But with each stroke I'm doing, it's getting better and better. Now, if you guys have been watching my channel or paying attention to me in any way for any given amount of time, you'll know that I really like ceramic rods over honing stones or anything like that. I'm really liking this pivot. The fact that that pivots, it allows it to follow the shape and the contour of that edge. If I lock this into place and then I try to do this, I get to right here where the angle is and it stops and it won't keep going at that angle. I would have to adjust with my wrist and everything else, and at that point I lose that 20-degree angle. So being able to keep that thing unlocked and it pivot, it will follow that contour. Very nice. Alright guys, so what I've done now is I've actually made it all the way down to a very fine diamond plate, and the edge is coming back very nice. It's not going to be popping sharp yet, but it's probably going to be taking hair. So what I've done is I've swapped it out for the ceramic rod here. I'm going to put that in there, lock it into place, because this one doesn't need to pivot because it's a rod, it's rounded, so therefore it's going to follow the contours of the blade anyway. Now, the thing that I don't necessarily like about this section is the fact that these guides here are 25 degrees. I don't really know that I'm ever going to truly love using a ceramic rod in a locked position. This is one of those things that I truly enjoy using freehand. And like I said, the fact that that's a 25-degree angle, I don't really like that too much. But, I mean, we're going to just see if it feels funny. I guess it doesn't feel that bad, but I'm gonna just tell you straight up, I don't want to do that locked in a position. I want to use that freehand, I really do. The reason I like to use my rods freehand is because I'm very comfortable with my rods. This is pretty much what I use to hone my knives, is a nice ceramic rod. I like to be able to feel it because I can feel what my blade is doing. And just that little bit has actually got that pretty dang sharp. It's not majorly popping hair because it's very hot, very humid right now, so my skin has a lot of moisture on it, but it's taking hair quite nice. If I was dry, I'd be taking it a lot easier, but I'm slightly sweaty. Now this ceramic rod itself actually has multiple settings as well. You can spin this around to where you have some very coarse edges. You also can sharpen fish hooks and everything else on, which I'm going to take a look at here in just a little while. But like I was telling you guys, I think for me to actually give a very accurate review of this item, I need to use it for a few days. I can't just use it right now and then say, oh, this thing's awesome or it's bad. I can tell you right now it's very intriguing. It's something that I actually am enjoying using and getting to know a little bit right now. It's very high quality. I mean, the quality's there and I feel like it's going to last a very long time. But there's a learning curve to it. If you're someone like me that does everything freehand, going to a system like this, it's completely night and day from what I'm used to. But the fact I was able to take this edge from a very poor state and make it to where it takes hair again relatively fast, and the very first time using this system is nice. So now once I get a feel for it and really find my flow with it, I should be able to take knives like this from a very poor state to a hair popping state really fast. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to play around with this for a couple days now. Alright guys, well I've done exactly what I told you I was going to do. But not only have I used the WorkSharp guided sharpening system for a couple days, I've actually used it for over a week now. And so what are my overall thoughts of this product? This is where my review is probably going to differ a little bit from the other Gauntlet reviews. When it comes to the WorkSharp guided system, I think it's a fantastic item. I think it's very well built, and it's going to actually serve whoever purchases it quite well. My only problem with this sharpening system lies in myself. The problem I have with it is the fact that I'm so used to doing everything freehand that I've had a real hard time adjusting to the guides and everything else. Again, it's not taken away from the product, because the product itself is actually very nice. But if you're somebody that is well established in sharpening and honing your knives, this is a system that is absolutely not needed. But if you're somebody that is new to this, that has never really messed with sharpening knives or honing knives or anything else, this is absolutely a good product for you, because not only does it provide you with everything that you need to get your knife from dull all the way to hair popping sharp, but it also provides you with educational pamphlets. Not only that, but it also provides you with the guides that you need, so that way you can feel what a 20-degree angle, what a 17-degree angle feels like, and get yourself used to it. Get yourself with that muscle memory, so that way you can remove the guides, do it freehand, and still get a very good edge on your knife. So again, the WorkSharp guided sharpening system, in my opinion, is a very good product. I'd absolutely give it a thumbs up. The only problem I have is myself. Simple as that. I'm not used to it. So anyway, I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. we definitely look forward to doing another gauntlet review. I have another one coming up here very shortly. As always, guys, have a good one.